Four legends who leapt off the pages: Joan, Da Vinci, Lincoln, Nelson. They burned her to silence her voice, but in the fire, she became eternal. How did an illiterate girl change the fate of a nation? France, 1429. A kingdom in ruins. Joan is just a peasant in Domremy. She doesn't want power. She wants to obey the voices telling her she is the only one who can crown the king and drive out the invader. She leaves her sheep behind and walks toward the king. She convinces the future king. He gives her an army. She leads the charge at Orléans and wins the impossible in days. But success creates enemies within her own court. The king, once crowned, becomes hesitant. Therefore, in a small skirmish at Compilation, Joan is left behind. But the worst part isn't the capture. It is the silence of the king she herself saved. The final conflict wasn't on a battlefield, but in a courtroom. They ask her to deny her voices to save her life. She chooses her truth. The resolution is brutal but clean. The stake at Rouen. Joan of Arc didn't win with a sword, but with a refusal to be silenced. Today, she isn't just a saint. She's the symbol that conviction is history's most powerful weapon. What voice are you ignoring today? Share your story in the comments and subscribe for more 3-minute biographies. Next, the genius who saw the future. Once upon a time, in a world of discovery, a man was born who would change everything. His name was Leonardo da Vinci. Even as a child, Leonardo was different. He watched the world with endless wonder, sketching everything he saw. He studied the human body, muscle by muscle, searching for the perfect balance between art and science. From the flight of a bird to the flow of a stream, he wanted to understand the secrets of life. He was a dreamer who wanted to touch the sky. He designed incredible machines centuries ahead of his time. Leonardo was an artist, a scientist, and an inventor. With his hands, he created art that would live forever. He painted faces that seemed to speak and landscapes that felt like a dream. He showed us that there are no limits to what the human mind can imagine. Today, his spirit of curiosity lives on, inspiring us to keep dreaming and keep creating. Leonardo, the man who saw the future. Next, the leader who freed a nation. Every great story has a humble beginning. In a lonely log cabin, a legend was born. With no formal school, young Abraham fueled his mind by the flickering glow of a candle, teaching himself the power of words. From the currents of the Mississippi to the counters of a small-town shop, he learned the value of hard work and the pulse of a growing nation. But his sharp mind belonged in the courtroom. Honest Abe was finding his voice, defending justice, one case at a time. As the country reached a breaking point, Lincoln stepped onto the national stage. His words echoed in great debates, challenging the conscience of a nation. His election in 1860 changed everything. But as he took office, the map of the Union began to tear. A house divided could no longer stand. From the halls of the White House, he watched the storm gather. The sky turned dark with the smoke of the Civil War. Yet, amidst the fire of battle, he struck a blow for human dignity, breaking the chains of millions with the Emancipation Proclamation. At Gettysburg, he redefined democracy. His mission was no longer just to win a war, but to heal a country. With malice toward none and charity for all, he fought to stitch the Union back together, piece by piece. But the journey of the great emancipator would reach a tragic end in the shadows of Ford's Theatre. A light was extinguished, but his spirit remained unbowed. Today, he sits in silent stone, a timeless symbol of freedom, unity, and the enduring American soul. Next, the admiral who defied the odds. October 21st, 1805. Off the coast of Cape Trafalgar, the fate of empires hung in the balance. Admiral Horatio Nelson issued his final, legendary signal. England expects that every man will do his duty. Against him, the combined might of the French and Spanish fleets. Nelson's daring strategy was to break the enemy line in two columns, forcing a chaotic, close-quarters brawl on the high seas. The ocean turned into a graveyard of oak and iron. Through the smoke of 1,000 cannons, the British ships carved through the line, turning the tide of the Napoleonic Wars forever. But victory came at a heavy price. At the height of the carnage on the deck of the HMS Victory, a sniper's bullet found its mark. Lord Nelson fell, mortally wounded, even as triumph was within his grasp. In his final moments, beneath the deck of his flagship, he whispered his last farewell. "Thank God, I have done my duty. A hero lost, a nation saved, and a legend carved in stone for eternity." Which legend inspired you most? Comment below.